welcome to this episode of Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr., part of Hank Jr. Productions, where I am documenting life's moments through photography, videography, and now podcasting. And tonight I have on my show Sandra North. Sandra, how are you doing tonight?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
All right, and I guess it's actually still evening for you because you're about 3 hours behind me there on the West Coast. And where are you calling in from on the West Coast?
From Hollywood, right in the middle of Hollywood.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I see you got your guitarist Juan Abella there with you as well.
Yes.
Hi everyone.
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing tonight?
Very good, thank you.
So, Sandra, you just celebrated a birthday, correct?
Yes, I did.
So, did you get to do anything for your birthday this year, or did you have to stay in, or how did you celebrate it?
Well, the thing was that I was back in Sweden for a little while, so
Okay.
it was special because I got to celebrate it with my family the day before, and then I actually flew back here the same day. So I got like an extra 9 hours because of the time difference. So I got a really long birthday.
Hey, you can't
A lot
beat
of
that,
traveling.
right?
Yeah, so it was nice when I got here. We had dinner and I saw all my guy friends, and some birthday cake.
Okay, well, good.
Yeah,
And you mentioned family over in Sweden because that's where you're from, correct?
yeah.
So tell us a little bit about kind of growing up in Sweden, because I'll be honest with you, I don't know too much about the place over there, and so I would love to hear what it's like.
Well, it's nice. I mean, I'm from a small town, so it was like very a lot of nature, very safe. We took our bikes or ran around. I grew up in the forests, and we had a summer house in the even further out in the countryside with like animals and almost like a private lake. It was really really nice and safe. Um, it gets very cold, which is what I don't like. Sweden is way up north, but yeah, it was nice.
And you moved to LA in 2015, correct?
Yes.
And what brought you to LA specifically? Like I know that you wanted to come to the United States, but I believe there was a specific reason why you chose LA.
Well, I actually moved here once prior to that, just to kind of try it out, and that landed me in Santa Barbara because it was a little bit more of a small town, like I was used
Mhm.
to. And then that way, I could kind of check LA out on the weekends and go to shows and stuff. And then, as I at the same time wanted to pursue my career in music and be on stage, I found a really good school in Hollywood. So that's kind of how I ended up here.
Okay, and that's the Musicians Institute, correct?
Yeah.
All right. And so tell me what you like about LA and what you miss about Sweden.
Well, I love it here. This has become my home, so it feels normal and natural to be here. I love the weather. The weather is just amazing. I never thought weather like that existed.
Yeah, it
Everyone's
never gets
creative.
cold in LA.
Well, it was a little chilly today, but that's like kind of refreshing considering it's almost always warm.
Hmm.
The people are really nice. Everyone's creative. It doesn't matter who you kind of run into or who you talk to. If it's your Uber driver, everybody's like writing a script or working with creative things, which is really refreshing. And yeah, I don't know. I really like it out here. I love the hills. The how you have everything kind of nearby. If you want to go to the mountains and see the snow, you can do that. If you want to go to the beach, you have that. You have all the beautiful mountains and the hiking.
Yeah, there's just so much to do right there in California. And like you
Yeah.
said, you don't really have to travel that far to get from the beach to the mountains and, the big cities. So it's a great spot to be. And what do you miss about Sweden?
Well, my family, of course.
Of course, yeah, sure.
Yeah. And the food. The food is really good.
So tell me a little bit about the food because, like I said, I'm not too familiar with it. What are
Oh,
some of your favorite dishes?
well, it's more, the home cooked stuff. So
Okay.
whatever I'm used to from at home, what my grandma cooks is just something special, and that feeling of coming home and I smell her kitchen just entering her apartment building. It's like I can already feel that she's been cooking. Uh,
And and I understand that
yeah,
completely because, when my grandmother was alive, I mean, that's what I used to always enjoy was her food. And, we're Mexican
yeah,
descent, so we had a lot of Mexican food growing up. And
right,
there's just something about grandmother's cooking.
yeah. For us, there's a lot of meatballs and potatoes and the regular. We have like a word husmanskost. I can't translate it. It's like the normal house food, I guess. But yeah.
Interesting. So tell me, how did you and Juan meet?
So we met through mutual friends from our school. We actually met once prior to getting to know each other because the same friend tried to introduce us twice, which is kind of interesting in retrospect. But the second time around, we we hit it off, and it was at my birthday party. He kind of crashed my birthday party, picked up the guitar. I asked him if he sang, and he was like, well, a little bit. And then, when I heard his voice, I was just on his case, like, you need to sing with me, we need to do this. And yeah, it's been great, and he helped me write songs and get my music out there.
Okay, and like I said, not only is he your guitarist, but am I understanding correctly that you helped produce "Long Time Coming," which is the latest album?
Yeah,
Yes.
I did.
Yeah.
Okay, and tell me a little bit about "Long Time Coming," because I think the title itself kind of says it all. That you've been, waiting to put this out there, and so tell me how you think it's doing, and how you got to this point.
Well, it's been a long journey. It's just I've had these dreams since I was little, and I didn't know that I could actually, make them come real, kind of, or come true. So it's the title just came very naturally to me when I thought of what I wanted to name it. But yeah, it's we started writing songs a couple years back when we met. It
Good
just
song.
Yeah, we released a couple of singles beforehand. I just really wanted like an album where I could. I'm old school and traditional. I want to hold it. I even
Hmm.
have it right here.
Well,
So
let's
I'm just
see. Yeah, there
yeah.
you go. Long time
So
coming, and
yeah,
I understand that too. And what's interesting, we got the CDs that like you said, the kind of old school and want that, but even more so, I see a lot of artists now doing vinyl and trying to
right,
bring that back. And
yeah,
I don't know if that's something that maybe you'll put out, but yeah, I do like something to hold, as
yeah,
well. And I think I don't know, it's just maybe the newer generation doesn't, but I like things that are tangible as well.
yeah. No, I mean, I've dreamt about this for so long, so that when I finally able to put it together and put all of it, like combine it and put it on an album, it was just like no way that I was not going to do that. I had to do that.
Okay. And so one of the songs that I know I personally really like on there is You. I mean, I like the version, the regular version, but I also love the stripped down version. And, I would love if that would be, the first song that you played here today.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Let's do it. You were always in my head. It's like a book I knew that I read. You keep walking through my door, just like 1,000 times before. You took me by surprise, like no one's ever opened up my eyes. Now it's all so clear. Never would have known when I first saw you. Who knew that I'd adore you? Never stood a chance from that first moment. It was you. Never could have seen the love you give me. You made it change completely. Never any doubts, 'cause now I know that it was you. It was you. You make everything seem right. Make all the shadows turn into light. You know all the little things. I love the way you play my every string. Never would have known when I first saw you. Who knew that I'd adore you? Never chance from that first moment. It was you. Never could have seen the love you give me. You made it change completely. Never any doubts, 'cause now I know that it was you, it was you. Now it's all so clear. You are always here. Never would have known when I first saw you. Who knew that I'd adore you? Never stood a chance from that first moment. Never could have seen the love you gave me. You made it change completely. Never any doubts, 'cause now I know that it was you. Never would have known when I first saw you. It was you. It was you. Never could have seen the love you give me. It was you. It was you.
And that was Sandra North, accompanied by Juan Abella here on Hank's Corner. And like I said, I really like that song. It's I know it's one of the songs that's on your album that you did not write. Everything else, I believe that you wrote, but this one wasn't. But the ones that you did, tell me a little bit about you know your writing process and where do you draw your inspiration from?
Well, the words are always mine. I still wrote the lyrics.
Oh,
So I've
okay.
written all the lyrics on every song. It's just that I work with my other guitarist, so he wrote the music for that one and sent it my way.
That's the only song that I did not
Yeah,
write.
that's
Okay,
how
my,
it is.
my apologies there. I got a little confused. Okay. So then you wrote all the lyrics on the album. And
Yeah,
so like I said, tell me where do you get the inspiration for that?
I feel like I have a lifetime of stories or emotions and heartbreak and just stuff to get out, experiences. So I feel like since it took me so long to do this that I have a lot to draw inspiration from, just from my own life and things you've gone through, kind of.
Now you say it took you a long time. And when
Yeah.
did you actually start writing songs?
Well, I started more like writing poems because I've always
Mhm.
loved writing, and whether it was like short stories when I was little. Um, I remember that I always had I had a notebook in school that I was like writing a lot of stories in, and then in my 20s, I guess I wrote a bunch of poems back when MySpace was a thing. I think I posted some there. I don't know. I could have probably turned them into songs, but I just didn't know how to get the music part out of me. So I didn't really have a song until I met Juan, and he was it was so like easy for him, and he's like, of course you're gonna have a song. It's it's not that big of a deal to him. It's a huge deal for me to have my words be put in a song instead. So try again is the first one that we wrote and put out.
Right, and I like Try Again too, that was, pretty successful, and,
Yeah,
so I guess you guys just make a good team together, you with the lyrics and him with the melody,
yeah,
because, sometimes, I've heard it described as, songwriting as dating, and,
oh,
sometimes you find a right partner that just seems to last, and then sometimes it's just a
yeah.
one night stand and you move on. And so that's great that you guys are able to, work well together like that.
That's very interesting. Yeah, and yeah, it is hard. So it's. I mean, we're great friends too. So you can always we can always speak our minds. And if I can tell him like a feeling or like an emotion that I want to get out, like even before I have the words, he can like kind of get the sense of what I'm looking for. So I really love how his mind work and the things that we do together.
And what drew you to country music itself?
I think just going to the South. just visiting. I met some friends down there. I spent some time there. The like country music is everywhere in the radio when you're traveling down there, and it's just super charming and warm and heartfelt, and a lot of storytelling, which is where I feel like I fit in.
And
Yeah,
that's what a lot of songwriters say, that they, naturally gravitate towards the country music because of that ability to be able to tell the stories.
yeah.
And so when you were growing up back in Sweden, though, I have to assume, the music is a little bit different. Tell us, what were you listening to while you were growing up?
Well, a lot of Swedish artists too, and for us, pop I think is like the biggest export too, because we have like huge writers and producers who work with everyone all all over. So pop is Sweden is very pop influenced, and but through my dad, I listened to a lot of classic rock as well. And I would say the country that I heard was maybe limited, but some, Dolly Parton crosses over, Shania Twain. I heard Carlene Carter a lot. Like one of her
Hmm.
songs is huge back in Sweden. So yeah, some stuff.
Okay. And as a kid, who were your influences? What artists made you want to just, take up music?
Wow, so many. I think the first girl is a Swedish singer called Carola. She kind of had her breakthrough when I was born, so I've just like loved her ever since being super little, and I would, dress up as her and pretend I was on stage when I was really little. So that I guess would be the first one. I had the cassette tapes and everything with her music. Still never saw her live, so that I need to check that off my list. But I mean, as a teenager, Britney Spears was a huge influence. I just love her performing and her stage presence. So I have a
Okay.
lot of that in me, and then vocally, I love Christina Aguilera, um, Carrie Underwood.
Yeah, and Christina and Carrie both, but Christina definitely, I mean, she is a powerhouse in
Yeah,
singing. And so, I mean, if you're gonna be influenced by somebody, Christina is definitely one of the ones
yeah,
that you're gonna be influenced by.
yeah.
And so, being in LA now, obviously the music scene is different than Sweden, but is there a lot of country influence actually in LA, or is it still mostly rock?
I think there's some country here. I mean, at least in the circles that because we you get to know everyone kind of. So the local artist, we kind of keep
A little
track
bit
of.
outside of LA, maybe.
Yeah, more outskirts where the
Yeah.
the country bars are.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think you were getting ready to describe that. I guess, being with other artists, you're kind of like a family. And that's what I was going to ask too, is that, I saw that you got to go to Nashville this past year finally. And people always describe me, and when I've been there, that Nashville is like a family. Do you get that sense out there in LA as well?
Well, I think so a bit. At least, I mean, we have a kind of a tight knit group uh, through MI and Musicians Institute because that's everybody kind of comes from the same place and it feels like a family. And even if you're doing different genres, you kind of have the same bond. And yeah, I think that's been the one like point where you can always go back if you need advice or help with something. It's like a nice um, core.
Mhm. And that's always a good thing to have, to have that kind of, like I said, it's been described as a family,
Yeah.
to kind of help you all have the same goal. And it's weird, like unlike other professions, that musicians often really want to see everybody succeed. If somebody else succeeds, it kind of helps you succeed as well, because there's a lot of collaboration. And I think that's kind of what makes it family like. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, for sure. I follow a lot of artists all over since the pandemic. There was not a lot to do. So, like, I network with a lot of artists all over the world, and I found some great ones in Norway and Nashville, and people that I follow here in America. You see where they moved to, and when I went to Nashville, I was going to meet up with a couple, but then I had just had really bad timing because no one was in town. But yeah, it feels like a family, and people want to do stuff together, and you know write or perform and stay in touch. If you're visiting, someone is always there, like, hey, come see me.
And is there anybody in particular that you would like to maybe collaborate or work with in Nashville?
Well, there's this really young guy that I know a little bit. He's called Coleman, and he's
Mhm.
just super talented. He writes songs all the time, and I know for sure he's gonna go places. And he's super friendly, and I know that I'll see him the next time I go there, and I hope that we can collaborate sometime.
Okay, and yeah, I've listened to Liam. I love his voice, and
Yeah,
somebody described him to me as the real deal, and I definitely agree with that. So that would be awesome if you can
yeah,
collaborate with him. And
yeah.
I know he's going to be a guest somewhere down the line on my
Oh, for
podcast.
sure.
We'll get him on. So
Yeah.
that would be cool. Tell me about Southern Man because I find that to be a very kind of upbeat, fun song. Tell me, where did you come up with that inspiration for Southern Man?
Well, it's about a love story of mine that I really felt like I needed to put down in words, and it was very meaningful to me, and it kind of changed a lot, and it was the first time I kind of encountered the Southern hospitality, the maybe the old fashioned gentleman kind of thing, and it sweeps the girl away for sure, and it was just a really nice story that I needed to put down in words. I don't know. Yeah. And
Okay.
you musically, you wanted it to be kind of
Yeah, I want to.
smooth and cruising
Yeah, I
and
want it to be like easygoing and the float, pretty well. So
like a love story kind of.
yeah, we had to
A
negotiate,
summer
let's
love
say,
story.
the melodies and the stuff, right?
And how does that negotiating process go? Or is that something that I should not ask on the show?
It's kind of like she writes the lyrics and I write the music, and then we come together and it's like, okay, maybe I think you should change, a little bit of those lyrics, and she says like maybe we should change a little bit of that melody, like
Yeah.
the last details are kind of like
Yeah.
more a negotiation.
It's always
Okay.
very interesting because same story about a broken heart, for example, I wrote that super introspective and kind of disappointed and heartbroken and oh, I've cried like over the same sort of relationship a million times, and I was so fed up with it. In my head, it was like this slow, sad song, but had also told him that damn, I really want like an upbeat, kick song, and he just took those words and made it into that kind of song. So it wasn't at all what I would have thought when I sat and wrote those words. So sometimes it really transforms into something else, which elevates it even more, and it's just super cool to see
What
that
happens?
happen.
What happens is like what I ask her is like, you bring me the lyrics. So when I read the lyrics, when I read them, for me they have a rhythm. They
Yeah.
and sometimes it's just like, oh, I was like thinking like a completely different type of song, and for me it's like very clear, like it rhymes. It like not only about the rhymes, but the way I start reading it, it's like okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay, and I start like okay, okay, and maybe she tries to
Phrasing
say
and-
something, I'm like wait.
Yeah,
It
it's
starts
super
happening.
interesting. It goes very fast, but yeah, it's like, oh no, quiet, and he already has it. It's very
And I
interesting.
find that very fascinating because, I've been able to write, and I've done some stuff in the past, nothing like on your level or anything like that. But I have the concept and the feel of writing. But when it comes to the actual music and melody, I have no clue how you musicians do that and just come up with something. And when you're jamming and you just feed off each other, and I think that's just so awesome when that happens. So
Yeah,
like I said.
like sorry,
Yeah.
like the lyrics are harder for me, like in that case.
Yeah, I
And
think
and that goes to what I was saying earlier is that you guys just make a great team, and so that's awesome, and I definitely love for you guys to play Southern Man here on Hank's Corner.
of course. Yeah.
Remember nothing but a smile when you walked up to me. You asked for directions, never knew all that we be. Those clear blue eyes and that taught me the girl fall apart. The story started right as you kept hanging around my space. Something about the vibe that you came from somewhere else. You talked all night, took me out, showed me what it's about. Riding in your Chevy down I-65, singing our song, never felt so high. Treating me right, holding on tight tonight. Pulling me in and stealing my heart. Underneath the stars, never felt those sparks. I'll never be the same. Looking at our change for good. Nothing quite like a southern man. You picked me up at our spot, just right down the corner. Saw a glimpse of a life I never thought I wanted. One horse town, small town girl, finally seeing the world. Riding in your Chevy down I-65, singing our song, never felt so high. Treating me right, holding on tight tonight. Pulling me in and stealing my heart. Underneath the stars, never felt those sparks. I'll never be the same. Looking at our change for good. Nothing quite like a southern man. Seems bittersweet now, and I'll never forget when it's all said and done. There's a reason we met, and I'll never regret who you made me become. Riding in your Chevy down I-65, singing our song, never felt so high. Treating me right, holding on tight. Pulling me in and stealing my heart. Underneath the stars, never felt those sparks. I'll never be the same. One look and it all changed for good. Ain't nothing quite like a southern man. Nothing like a southern man. Nothing like a southern man.
All right, and that was Southern Man here on Hank's Corner. Definitely love that song. It's one of those ones that just gets stuck in your head, and it's a good being stuck in your head, not like one of the annoying ones. And when I heard that, it's kind of like it just replayed the first time, and I definitely love that. So tell me, is there anything else that you guys get a chance to do, or is music your life? Like what when you're not doing music, what else are you doing out there?
Making money. No, I don't know. Well, you gotta make money too. But
So
I
do you
love,
do you
I
do you
love
have a separate job? So you're not a full-time musician, or is that
yeah, unfortunately not yet. But I mean, music is what comes first and foremost, and what we spend like every waking hour trying to do. So it's like having, I don't know, three jobs sometimes with everything that we need to do. Um,
in my,
yeah.
or I'm doing my music, or I'm doing music with her, or
Yeah.
I'm studying. I'm studying business.
Yeah.
okay? So
I
you're
like
going to
photography on
school.
the side though, so that kind of helps in every all the creative stuff that you do still helps with what we do, kind of, if it
Okay,
makes
and
sense.
and you
Because
kind of you kind of broke up. Did you say photography?
yeah,
Okay, and that's
yeah,
right up my alley because I like photography, and that's one of the things that I do here on the side,
yeah,
videography as well. And so, are you doing your social media and advertisements in house then?
Yeah.
oh yeah, 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 I do all of it on my own. Yeah,
Okay, because
Yeah.
I definitely like them, and you guys definitely do a great job doing it.
I'm the
Thank
hired
you.
photographer sometimes.
Yeah, but that's the good part because considering like you have all these various interests or qualities that allows you to be creative together. When during the pandemic, like it's really hard to hire someone, so I kind of trained him, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to do this on our own, and I have a camera, so I was like kind of trying to guide him to take the cover picture,
Hmm.
which he did a great job of. So yeah, we've
Yeah,
done
it
we
definitely
direct
did.
it ourselves, kind of.
That's awesome. And so when you're out there playing in the LA area, do you have any upcoming gigs that you like to promote?
Uh, I, not at the moment. Well, we're playing at a friend's house tomorrow, which is gonna be fun.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, but
we're recording
yeah,
on.
we're recording more. We're trying to finish new songs.
Okay.
They've been around for a while and they need to get finished.
Okay. So we're just gonna have to kind of wait to see you guys actually playing live again until you
Well, I do
finish
have
the
some
recording.
shows in sorry, I have some shows
Uh,
in Sweden actually, and
oh,
because I'm trying to start up over there too, so I might be going back and forth a bit. And I booked a festival this summer in Sweden, which is going to be super cool to play.
and
I still
Juan,
haven't
do
played
you
it
get to
though.
go with her, or do you have to stay here in the States?
Not yet.
Exactly. Well, I would arrange for that to happen, but we'll see where life takes him, I guess.
We'll see. Not
Yeah.
yet.
That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. So, your latest song that you have out, and you have a video as well for it, is "My Song." Tell us a little bit about that.
I just wanted to write it about my journey so far, like growing up, a bit about my backstory and my upbringing, um, good and bad. I put all of it in there, and then about my dreams, my journey coming here, just feeling like I conquered a lot, and my fears and stage fright and a bunch of these things, and feeling like I'm finally doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm at the place where I feel like I belong.
I it's something that is kind of like funny is that for that song actually I wanted to write the lyrics for her. Like I when we started, like I
Yeah,
told you, like
yeah.
I want to write a song, but I want to write the lyrics because I thought that she needed a song like that, like
Mhm.
like telling where she came from, you know, and I did like kind of like the music like super fast,
Yeah.
and I don't know if
It's
we
just
still have that phrase that I wrote,
yeah,
but it
you
was
wrote the first
incomplete.
line, yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't, I couldn't finish
It,
it. I couldn't finish it,
yeah.
and I gave
And
it to her, and she knew exactly what to do.
well, the thing is, it's hard to sing someone else's words. Like even if you have ideas, I need them to be my words, kind of. So it's like either I have to rephrase it or say it the way that I would say it, or it's really hard to when it's something about something personal. I kind of need it to write it myself, even if you come up with like a line here and there to help me, which
Yeah,
is nice.
but I think that's the
Um,
only one that I wrote the music first.
Yeah, we had that song
Interesting.
kind of with no lyrics for the longest time because also I don't know, I put a lot of pressure on myself because I knew exactly what I wanted it to be about, but it's hard to verbalize it, and when you want it to be encouraging for other people and inspirational, it's like even harder to get the right words down. So I really had to force myself like 2.5 years later
And
to get it done.
it was fun because for a long time, that demo had my voice with na 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 na, saying na na
Yeah.
na.
Interesting. I like that. And so I'm happy that you were able to share your story through my song, and we're gonna play that video on the way out. But before we leave, Sandra and Juan, I just want to thank you for being guest here on Hank's Corner. Hopefully I get to see you live one day,
Yeah.
whether if I make it out there to California or Nashville, or you make it down here to Florida. But in the meantime, you're more than welcome to be guest on Hank's Corner anytime.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much, and
much.
thank you for having us. It's been a pleasure.
She was always daddy's good girl, grew up sheltered as can be. Never knew much else existed. She was too scared to see. She dreamt about a different world for this small town girl. Wasn't long before her life got real, only 9 years old back when. Kept on staring through the window pane, praying for a change. She always knew it'd take some time, but one day she'll be fine. You think I'm not strong enough, but you see, I'll keep singing my song, keep reaching for the sky and spread my wings until I fly. This is where I belong. Nothing you're ever gonna say will ever change my way. Yeah. Catching crawfish by the river, skinny dipping in the sea, doing everything shouldn't, always running wild and free. I go back to those happy days when life's too much to face.